We're live.
Okay, we're going to come back into regular session now. We've completed our executive session. And now we're ready for public comments and feedback. And we have one person here tonight to speak to the council. So Emily, if you would come to the podium, state your name, give your address, what you want to talk about tonight, and we will give you the floor.
Great. Emily Bender, Total Body by Bender, 5 West Howell Street, Cleves, Ohio, 45002. Just would like some clarity on the intentions of the skate park. I began seeking interest in the skate park with the last administration and the last council. Kind of got the runaround. They talked about a grant funding it and the fact that it would have to be moved. So it would cost Cleves money to move the skate park. They could not just do away with it. So that was kind of how that ended. And now the equipment is down. So just didn't know if that reinvented, okay, the skate park is no longer there, or is that still technically using grant money because the pavement is still there?
Let me answer this briefly. First of all, I'm well aware you and I spoke before I ever got elected. I know you had a number of conversations with Mr. Rahal, and that went nowhere. I don't remember all the details. As far as the park is concerned and the grant, that was a We Thrive grant that was received from the village. We're back as a We Thrive village, but from that perspective, whatever rationale they gave you, I mean, that was their rationale, okay? And there was discussion in Parks Committee, and Kevin, you feel free to interject here, about the skate park. But as my recollection, we felt like it wasn't being used very often. There were some concerns about liability, and we made the decision as a council to dismantle that.
Yeah.
And that has been donated to the village of Addison.
So my question would be, what were the stipulations of the grant in the beginning?
No
I don't
idea.
think there were any stipulations. I was part of We Thrive. I was part of that grant. I was there when we did it.
Because with grants, there's a time frame, correct?
I'm sorry.
There's a time frame. Like, so if the skate park needed to be kept up for a certain amount of time.
I don't think that we had those kind of restrictions on us.
I don't think the land was the property.
The property was
was not
owned
part
by
of
the village of Cleves.
Property was not part of the skate park, so it's kind of a.
And it was back, if I had to guess, I'd say 2010. I mean, I left in 15 and that skate park was there several years before that. I don't remember the exact.
So there's no information documented at all about this grant, nor how that was funded, nor what the grant stipulations were. Like, we all know that there's rules with grants. Like, we all know there's specifics on grants. There's a timeout, there's all of this. So we don't have any of that documentation. We have no, okay.
I have no knowledge of
Okay. Because like, if that was the reasoning with why it wasn't touchable or why.
Well, that's what they told you. That doesn't mean it was a legitimate reason.
Right. So no paperwork could be produced with any kind of specifics.
There's a lot of things, Emily, that I wish we could put our fingers on.
For sure.
There has to be probably an ordinance somewhere, but I don't even know what year it would have been.
Well, we know that we had our ordinances reviewed for the last 20 years. So whenever that happened, that ordinance was not one that M Legal found or dealt with.
Okay.
Well, it's not a federal grant.
You would have had to see the disaster that existed over at the water department as far as records were concerned. Fortunately, our current administrator has organized all that. But we have nothing that I'm aware of. I don't think Justin is aware or council is aware that any of those things ever exist. And as
Okay.
far as We Thrive is concerned, we were not eligible. We'll be doing a grant with We Thrive. But we've not done one because we haven't been eligible until we returned. We had to be a member for 2 years. So they dropped out of We Thrive long before your request. I just don't know.
Yeah, which was part of
If it helps, I can reach out to Maddie and find out if there's any additions.
I would say don't do that.
I am confident in saying that there are no restrictions on the deed of that land. There's nothing that prohibits the sale of it. I think at
And
this
then what
point,
are the intentions? What are the proposed intentions for it?
so not quite sure yet. It is village property at a premium in our revitalization district, and we just obtained a mini planning grant to establish a master plan for the revitalization district. So, I mean, the consideration of a sale, I think that's what you're asking.
No, I was just
Parking.
fact finding because like what they said in previous administration was it could be kept a park. So I didn't know if information was found.
Well, it still could be
When-
at the park if we
Well, I-
choose to do it.
So,
Well, I will tell you.
okay, hold on. Can I finish? Sure. If it was like, if that was found out, you know, like me being previous, like walking into this room, if information was found out with you guys digging, which I know, you know, I know the stacks that the clerk was having to go through of ordinances and, you know what I mean? I asked how to set up shop and was told nothing. And then like he comes over and asking for like a sign, a sign fee. And I'm like, how do you pay the $20? I asked him what I needed to do. But anyway, so I just didn't know because Ray Hall was spewing like details and specifics. One of those specifics was like keeping it a park. So like he could have, you know, like drilled up as long as he or thrown some seed and soil on top of it, or like, you know what I mean? It didn't have to be a skate park, but he made it sound to be that the details of what that would have to be used as would be in a
Let me
park.
respond to you in this way. There is a reason why Mr. Ray Hall is no longer.
For sure. So that's why I'm here,
Okay,
to find
I
out
would
what
just-
we figured out.
I would discount almost 100%
Right.
certain
Right,
anything he told you was accurate.
for sure. That's why I'm
So-
here. So yeah,
We gotta get beyond whatever you were told back then.
Right.
We gotta deal with it here and now.
for sure.
So what is it you're requesting?
I have requested purchasing it because I have been told that painting lines on it and opening it up, that Cleves does not have the money for that. I have requested that it be opened up with parking just because there's already a gate that can be swung open, and as long as one parking spot is left free, that could free up a whole heck of a lot of parking for us to be able to utilize. But parking, I guess the paint is too expensive, or the work of maintenance is too pricey to be able to, so that's what I'm asking, or what are the intentions for it? Is it still able to be purchased or utilized? And honestly, if not, I just really have to see how the next, so I closed up the 128 location. It was too pricey, overhead was too high. My numbers started diving in the summer, and they did not recoup in the fall. So now I have cut my practitioners in over half. So the practitioners follow me back, plus me, plus massage therapist, and I'm just concerned about parking long term. So I might need to sell, I might need to move.
And so you know that the senior center in Miami Township would like to see that too. We have to do, in my view, what the best overall for the entire village, and we certainly don't want to lose a business. That's not good for anybody. But I don't know that we can answer that question. Justin, you've done a lot more on this than I have with your planning grant and that. And you've already mentioned as part of the revitalization district, you might want to explain. I don't know if you know much about that, but it might be worthwhile you hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to keep this high level. There's a lot of unknowns. So, you know, we're landlocked. We don't have a ton of opportunities to capitalize on a revitalization business district. So the property we do have, it's important that you capitalize on. whether that's a city lot, and it becomes a city lot, that's possible. If we sell that to a developer, that's possible also. If we sold it to a current business owner, that's in the realm of possibilities as well. I'm not tipping our hand one way or another. We just don't know. Before we proceed in any manner, it was important that we had a strategic master plan for our business district, which is why I submitted for the Hampton County Mini Planning Grant. We were awarded that. We just executed the MOU, and that'll be going to bid in the next 30 days. And the whole goal there, Brittany, is to have an engineer come out and do conceptual. Emily, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Or you're thinking Java jackets.
Right, yeah, we kind of job jackets. No, anyway, until we have the modeling done and council adopts that strategic plan, we're looking to hold on to it. That shouldn't be a lengthy process. Earlier tonight, we discussed the importance of completing our model zoning code. So to your point, we know it was train wreck. We don't want business owners to go through that when they open up shop. So that was part of the initiative for model zoning code. I would hope by summer we would have a pretty clear direction of where we want to go with that. And that'll go through our planning and zoning commission and ultimately council to determine if that's something we want to request for proposal and sell, or if we want to develop into a city lot ourselves. I don't know at this point.
Sure.
I guess what else I'd say is, I know you have a parking issue. You know, we tried to put a Band-Aid on the issue with the 2 parking signs. I'm open to having discussion to maybe give you additional parking, if that'll help get you by until we have a, more clear direction of where we're going. If that's something you'd like to explore, you can give me a call. I know you have 2 right now, plus your, on-street parking on the side of the road. We could potentially extend that to, 3 or 4 spots. I don't know if that would help. What I'll say with the parking lot, it's not necessarily about the money. I mean, we are cash strapped. However, if we did make it a parking lot, we would want to wait until we adopted our new model zoning code. Because that has clear direction on the length and width of parking spots. It would require it to be lit. It require, width of egress and additional apron, and it is costly. Actually, a guardrail put in to protect the drive-through, and so I mean that's all cost. I think it's something the council would be open to. It's just until we have this planning grant executed in a formal vision, I would say we're not inclined to move any direction right now.
Okay. Is that gate open?
The gate can't open. The problem
It is not open.
Can we
It's
have
not-
it open for parking in the meantime?
I think that would create
That would be very
liability.
confusing.
So there's a rail all around there as far as barrier.
So we talked about it. We would, at a minimum, we'd have to remove the tree or trees and those concrete flower beds, if that's what they would call it. We'd have to remove that. We'd have to pour an apron. We'd have to line it. We'd have to put a guardrail on at a minimum. And I think at this point, it's a matter of like throwing good money, get bad.
At the one time, the entrance was coming off of Miami.
Right.
Since then, we've made Howell one way. And now the entrance to that is off of Howell. But it used to be right there by the
It
drive-through.
used to be both ways.
But I don't believe that an apron currently exists there on, I could look.
It was changed.
I don't know if does an apron still exist on North Miami coming
Oh,
out. I don't
no,
believe
it's
there
West
is.
Howe, like, I haven't looked on North Miami, but West Howe.
But it used to be one at there.
The fire, when I was on the fire department back in the 80s, that's where we parked, fire department parked over there. So it was a parking lot.
At one point it was, and you're saying there was concrete work redone and
And the grant, just to clarify, never had anything to do with the owning the property. The grant was just for the escape equipment,
Right.
the asphalt and the fence.
So it's always been village property,
Correct, from the
Begin with.
beginning. Yeah.
or back when I moved here back.
Yeah, it was village property. So we owned the property before we ever got the grant. It was just the equipment.
And as far as more land, what's going on with all the Tish property that's prime real estate for a business district?
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, there's been an acquisition of 8 parcels at this point. So where logo art sits and I guess, let me back up. It's all been zoned B1 and B2, so business district or mixed use development. So anything that's currently residential, can continue in that manner, but if it ever comes down, it couldn't be re-erected. It's residential, it'd have to become business and conform at that point. There's been 7 or 8 parcels purchased. That acquisition took place late 25. There's, it's going through engineering. There's conceptual drawings of an eatery that's a bar and eatery that's gonna go in where the logo art building used to sit and the residence behind it and next to it. You know, part of this grant is how can we accommodate more parking? We understand we don't have a lot of parking. The width of the roadway makes it difficult for on-street parking. It'd be great if we could put like herringbone style parking in, like we don't know. That's what this grant aims to find out. Can we do herringbone parking, which will grab us 30% additional parking on the street? If we can do that, I think we'd be, you know, more inclined to sell this parcel. I mean, we'd love to see a business go in there. We'd love to see, you know, be able to facilitate you or somebody else and make your business thrive. It's just, until we complete that, I don't know if we're in a position to say, yeah, we want to sell it. And the other part I want to make clear is anything we would sell, we would have to put the public bid, and it doesn't have to be the highest bidder necessarily, but it has to be the best bidder. And that's why it's important that we do the appropriate request for proposal. And, you know, if we did market that lot and it was, you know, we want to increase or drive economic development, I think you'd have a strong case for it, whether you were the highest bidder or not. So there's a lot more we could discuss with, you know, your vision and how we could help you there, whether it's remaining a house or somewhere else, or, you know, I think we could have an offline conversation and maybe make some headway.
But no decision has been made to even sell it. There are lots of options for that property there.
Correct, that's what I was saying. We just don't know what we don't know, and until we complete our, you know, our research and development of the master plan, we're not going to really have a direction. So
as far as timeline, about summer, you plan on having the big plan as far as just what you want where, so like kind of going where, and then.
I don't have a hard deadline to do.
No, for sure.
We signed the MOU on December 10th, and I'm just waiting to connect with the county to put it out to bid. It has to go to a formal bid process with public county money.
To do what? What are we putting out?
That's for the grant.
For the engineering firm that will conduct the study and.
Okay, I want to make sure we don't get it confused with
As soon as
going out the bill.
As soon as we do that, I'd be hopeful the timeline for completion would be summer. Now, whether that is that June, is it August, I'm not sure. I'll definitely let you know.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why we spoke earlier tonight about a deadline of approving this new model zoning code for the village. We've been working on it for quite a while now, and that has to be adopted first too. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
All right, ask you a couple of questions. You spoke of a certain amount of urgency for yourself. Do you know, from a business perspective, how long you would want to let this in the unknown?
That's the hard part. I don't start, I'm kind of on sabbatical myself. So all they've had to tolerate over there for the last couple of weeks has just been what they're pulling in. So I've got one person out on surgery, and then I'm coming back February 9th. So we will see like February and March, how that goes. When I was at 128, I was pretty consumed, so I wasn't over here a whole lot the first year, but then I was over here a lot the second year, and we did continue to have issues. I think that senior center is a huge issue, just because that is such an unsafe parking. I can't believe anyone would think that a senior center would be appropriate to have like a 60-degree, 70-degree grade for old people to walk down. Like, I'm just like, was anybody like in this planning session? Like, what? Like,
We are a hilly
so
place.
no, like, I mean, you see one car over there of somebody who dares to put their life in the environment's hands. Yeah.
Well, so then follow-up question is related to where you may be going. What do you estimate is your business's need in terms of quantity of parking spaces and timing of?
So
Because
at any given time, morning or evening, we can have 6, 1, 2, plus 4, plus another 7 people. I went over and talked to Pete, God love him. He's having trouble with the residents, up in his apartments, because there's just cars packed even around his place. He's getting really pissed off. So one person has always parked on my side, like I will park there or the other person will park there. I was trying to be amiable, trying to be neighborly. Like I have never asked them to not park there except for the trailer for the Cleves walk that Chase was. I was like, guys, I need you to not park here. The truck and the trailer have to be able to park here. So he's having trouble with them, but then he bought that 3-story red brick. So I went over and talked to him and I said, hey, listen, can we park there? He's got a bunch of like old cars that don't even move. But he's an auto shop. You know what I mean? But those aren't the autos that he's working on. Those are literally like dead autos that somebody has given him or. So he said he would try to clear it out as much as possible, talk to his leasers, like talk to his renters and see if he could clean that up at all. The issue that Chuck is talking about before Chuck was elected was Hamilton County. And there was a huge issue with personal cars taking up almost that entire side. So he was very gracious to even like work with just trying to expose it with his newsletter and things like that and trying to like open up communication with you to back up.
I have a question. Yeah. You and I spoke, and we spoke about the parking that could take place on the street on Porter, and I remember you expressing concern about lighting in that area there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If lighting could be put in that area, would that be helpful?
I do not see any increase. So that's all the property that we would be utilizing is Pete's property. That's Pete's property, private property. There is no parking.
What I'm talking about is when you go around the corner.
Where I park my truck on the side of the white.
No, I'm not.
Oh, the other corner.
Yeah,
for sure.
On Porter.
So there's only right side parking. There's no
Quite
parking.
a bit of parking there, but
there's no parking on the other side. Is it only one side of the
It's
parking?
one side of the
street.
One side of the street for all the residents and
yeah, but nobody ever parks there.
When I walk, I don't see a lot of those things. So I think there's even fire hydrant over there. I think they'd have to park probably.
I'll look again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think there are.
Because we can't park by Lisa's. Like we can't.
Well, a couple things. I just talked to Justin about designating a couple spots for the sheriff's park over here behind the municipal building. He feels that we could probably put 2 spots in there for you to have parking. Okay. I'm just looking for ways that we can maybe support your business.
Yeah.
Do you know
I just think they're going to be fearful because many of my regulars have been around through the entire saga. I don't think they will feel. If there's signage, they might. Like if I can convince them with like signage, it might help.
I'm talking about in our lot.
I know. I've tried to convince them for years.
Why would they not feel safe?
Because they're scared of the Hamilton County sheriffs, and they've been dicks to them. Like when they're getting in and out of their cars.
If I was able to work that out, I don't, we own the property, and I don't think it would be an issue at this point. But
I'm just saying, if there's signage that my people can like feel secure that they're not going to get.
If I was able to allocate you 2 additional spots where you used to park when the police department was here, we gave you those 2 spots and left them open. If I placed your same signage, you'd have to purchase the signs.
Right.
But if it was agreeable and you purchased those 2 signs and I put them in the far end here, closest to your building, that would give you 4 dedicated spots, and then where you park your truck would give you 5. Would that get you through until summer when we can
see.
I know it's not a perfect answer.
No, I know.
Looking for something.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like it would be something.
I think it's something that we would be willing to do. I'm not committal right now. I'm going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I could get back to you probably by the end of the week. And if 4 dedicated spots would help, I think that we
definitely the proximity would help. I mean, that's the whole reason I formed the entire RAM. It's just because of clientele as well. Like I wasn't able to get a couple of stairs because of the water main. For them to be able to come up So they still have to walk around or whatever, but I still do have a fair amount of physically challenging people that have to get up there, so. Yeah, I sent through my booking system, like a picture of Pete's building and said that he'd be able to, I'm trying to get the instructors and the practitioners at least to park over there, just to free up the side of the building. I'm not sure if anybody's gonna throw their car on the side of the building, I have to say, just because people whip around there for Tommy's drive-through. They're not gonna let their Lexuses and their Beamers get dinged by somebody going to Tommy's. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I will say, as a council person, there were times I pulled down here and every spot was taken. So I had to go back out, come around.
Remember you parked in my, you were like, oh, you're probably just.
Yeah, well, it was dark.
I know.
It was completely dark.
You're not the first one.
But there were times I didn't get any.
There's
and there's
Hamilton County.
at least 3 or 4 parking spots over in front of the senior center along North Miami. And I've parked there and walked here many times. Right. It's flat. You do have to cross the street. So there are other options, I think. And when the library moves, that whole strip might free up, once the library.
That's true.
So there are other options, but we should look at everything. But I think, there is a sidewalk that walks down to the business from North Miami, correct? Or not?
No, there's not.
They have to walk on the
behind
street.
the cars. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's not the safest setup.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
this is trivial compared to the details we're trying to work out there, but, for perspective, some of the stuff we've talked about in parks, if you're interested in chiming in at that venue too, you could.
And that's the Monday, 5:15.
Yeah, third Monday. I really wanted to got the skate park and move on to I wanted an enclosed athletic facility, wiffle ball or basketball or something for kids to do, run around. Because we don't have much to work with. So we were kicking around ideas like that. Things that were priorities of council kind of got punted to while we're trying to do this. And one of the things that's unique about that space is this weird confluence of things. This administrative building, that pass through business access, like you said, the Tommy's, just how many.
This might be total, either word of mouth or was it ever being entertained? And again, I might not be privy to this information of completely just doing away with West Howe.
With what?
Completely West Howe, there is no entrance, no exit. Was that being entertained at one point ever?
I know it was discussed loosely.
There basically not being a West Howe street, or you know what I mean, that just being one.
It was discussed, extending the sidewalk through. It's a blind turn, and we kind of promote pedestrians to be in there as a walkway, and you have cars turning off a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Just because as far as even space, increases.
I guess, yeah, and when we put this master plan together, there will be conceptual drawings of what it could be if this whole block, the whole block right here, if that was, if the municipal building ever relocated, what it would be and what it would look like. And so, yeah, I think everything's been discussed.
Yeah,
it's an option, and nothing's really happened.
For sure.
I think that, to Kevin's point,
I'll kind of come to that. So, you have suggestions as someone who's lived in the space as a business for X number of years. It's so quirky and odd that, we're always, if you had a blank piece of paper, if it was 1817 and we were laying out tracks, we could say, hey, when cars come, this is going to be important to be structured this way, but we're
What's
doing
going on with the hotel, no-tell?
What's going on with it?
I mean, that's something else that was old administration. There's a laundry list of illegal activity. There's a laundry list of negligence and with the building, there's a laundry list, which now we have someone that's supposed to be fining people for not keeping their buildings well kept, right? Hamilton County has a designated person that
Hamilton County has nothing to do with village.
We have an organic zoning code enforcement officer, and
He does handle complaints.
So that's not through Hamilton County,
It's
through
local.
the village of. Okay, so when I called, that was years ago though, so that could have changed even years ago. Like I was given the name of someone through Hamilton County that was given
Yeah, it's.
Addison and Cleves that was like enforcing zoning laws is what I was given.
Well, you have to
Well, that could
understand,
have been Dick Weber,
That's-
he did Addison and Cleves.
well,
He was a
yes,
zoning
but
officer.
you've gotta understand, there really wasn't a lot of zoning enforcement going on in this village from 2020 on. So that has just returned, okay?
Right,
So, yeah, we are a municipality, and people forget that, and I'm not just talking about our citizens forget it, but there's other entities that forget the fact that we are a municipality and we are a home rule village and we have the right to make our own zoning ordinances, which is what the model zoning code that we're gonna have to adopt will address all that.
right, right.
Now, Hamilton County's been part of those discussions, but once it's over, it's our code, it's not theirs.
So hotel motel is upstanding business in the eyes of the village of Cleves.
Yes.
You can't discuss ongoing investigations related. So
Sure, sure. Okay, but as of now, upstanding business in the village of Cleves.
if there were any complaints, we would investigate them.
To my point, if you have any visions, please present them so that we have them. We've had you chip in with us before. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Like you said,
Well, we'll
visions are hard without space. And visions are hard without decent
resources.
property, and visions are hard without, yeah. I mean, I was signing to buy where Hive is, and I had a contractor say, run as far as you can and as fast as you can. Because this is had 4 fires, it is basically falling down around, and I would not put money into this property.
Right,
So
and
that's the hard
maybe
part.
we can schedule a meeting for you and I to talk. I know there is a vacant lot next to it. I don't know if new construction is something you'd even consider.
Furniture moves in on 128, it's not sure, we'll put that kind of money in, but
In regards to that, I mean, we want to support you the best we can, so, if the 2 spots will get you by, then, you know, maybe, I don't want to speak out of turn here, maybe we could extend it to 5 total. At least as, you know, stopgap to get you through until we know where we're going with it, but
and I'd love to say that it helps, it only helps if people actually abide by the sign.
I understand. I think we're in a position where we can,
I'm not talking.
Justin has a comment I think you need to hear.
I think we're in a position where we can address that. But we have, our local authority is intact now, and I think there's a better relationship. So I would like to think that's not occurring regularly anymore.
And if there's a marked car in the spot, what do I do? A marked car or an unmarked car in the spots?
You should call me.
Do you have established hours? I mean, is it safe to say that after a certain time in the evening?
From coming back from 128, we do not have people really wanting to be there after 7:30. So usually our 6:30 group class is our last class.
I was just curious.
Yeah, and that's usually 4 people and an instructor. And then in the massage room, there's either like a massage or a private and one other instructor. So that's really at 6:30 is probably when there's gonna be like 7 people in there, and the same kind of at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Like the lull in my business is from like 1 to 4 in the afternoon, but I'm still in there with one other person. Massage can be in there with one other person. So that's still giving you probably 4 people in there on any given afternoon between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. But definitely the hardest part is probably more evenings. Even the fact that that marked car sits there outside of a parking spot, like moving reformers in and out, like I had to move so many times, and God love him. He got the heck out of Dodge when he saw that I was going to be all over the place with my truck. But it's super unhelpful to people. I had one person, just because they're protected. So I mean, I had he ran into her and he was safe. Her insurance had to pay out. Their premiums went up. It's that clause where if you're an officer, you can't be touched. But yeah, definitely congestion. The officer sitting in the street not in a parking spot, big issue. A lot of the times, if they see things get busy, they go and park by the dumpster, but, I don't, Justin, I just don't know that I'm gonna like call or text you when that happens, like,
Yeah, well,
that's not professional.
Due to the time
Yeah.
here,
Ready?
let's wrap this up now, let's schedule a meeting, that we can work through all this.
Yeah.
Okay,
And again, if that's not helpful until summertime, I totally get
I
that.
think our meeting needs to be much earlier. But
Okay.
We need to probably within the next week.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we're gonna return now to our agenda, and we're gonna be doing resolution 01-2026. And Justin, why don't you go ahead and sort of give them a review of what the city wants to do here.
Let me get this. This will be resolution 1-2026, a resolution requesting the county auditor to make advance payments of taxes. It's a pretty routine housekeeping item for us. We need a resolution in place from the council to ask the county auditor to make their first half disbursement earlier.
Yep, it's very standard. If anybody has questions, I can probably answer. I probably adopted 16 of them. We didn't do it every year.
Essentially, this is just a way for us to get our first payment.
We got our tax money sooner and can make the interest on it instead of it sitting at the county. Thanks. I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bolton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Meyer. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Babel,
Yay.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. We also have a resolution 02-2026, authorizing the village administrator to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission, State Capital Improvement and or Local Transportation Improvement Program. Justin, would you give them the background on this, please?
Again, this is more of a housekeeping measure. This allows us to be part of the OPWC so we can submit for grant funding throughout the year. OPWC funds support a host of capital improvements. Roads could be one of those. We've used them for waterworks in the past to extend our water main under the river.
Does this have to be adopted every year? Or is it,
I
does
believe
it
so.
extend beyond?
This came at the recommendation of our engineer, so I believe it's an annual occurrence,
Okay.
Does it cost us money to be a part of that?
not to my knowledge. If it does, it's minimal charge, but I don't believe there's any.
I don't remember any kind of. Is it a resolution?
This would be resolution 2.
Is it an emergency? Does it require emergency?
I think Robert said no.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bolton. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Babel. Any further discussion? No discussion. Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Babel,
Yay.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Now we have ordinance 01-2026, authorizing an agreement between the village of Cleves and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relative to the improvement of Miami View Road. I know this came from our village engineer. Justin and I had a conversation with her. What I don't know is, and you can explain more about that, Justin, if you want. Do we need to suspend the rules for this ordinance? I believe we probably
Yeah.
do. Okay.
Is Miami View getting done? I mean, what's the status?
We're just suspending the rules.
We are going to suspend the rules.
Yeah, not an emergency. No. Yeah, so we were awarded $87,000
Right.
and 25 for repairs to Low River. It wasn't our full request. Our request was for a full tear out repavement. We were awarded 87,000. And so I've instructed our service director to obtain quotes to repair the sections that are in need. That includes a new stormwater box and culvert, which probably 20,000 of that, and repair the the worst areas, so.
We didn't get enough to do everything we were hoping to do, but we want to at least correct the worst, parts of the
And
road.
replace the stormwater infrastructure that's failed.
Where's anything?
Lower River Road.
Down
For whatever
that
reason.
one end exit to the park.
Whatever reason, the county, this is Miami View, it's a through road. I added in parentheses Lower River. Lower River runs up to Mount Nebo.
Wait.
Yeah,
And runs into
Miami
Miami
View.
View. Becomes Miami View once it exits Cleves proper.
And we're gonna have to have a motion to suspend the rules for this one, okay? So that's the motion, to suspend the rules for ordinance 01-2026. And we need a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Dable. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Angeline. And, is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Babel,
Yay.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes, 5-0, and now I need a motion to adopt, ordinance 01-2026, authorizing an agreement between the Village of Cleves and the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners relative to the improvement of Miami View Road. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Babel. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns, Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Babel,
Yay.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0, and now we will move on to the administrator's report.
Sure. Last month, we held our annual Christmas party for village staff and elected officials. Went over well. I appreciate the support and letting us have that again, and the employees appreciate it. Board led services to the park. When we were renegotiating our Rumpke contract, for garbage services for the year. I also obtained a quote for Florida Life Park. They're considerably cheaper, so we've entered an agreement with them. We're no longer using AK Butler. So as you look at the pay ordinances moving forward, you won't see AK Butler anymore. You'll see a monthly charge from Rumpke. Jordan Road water line extension, phase 2 of that project is underway. Phase 1's complete, been tested. Purchased an AED for the parks. That was purchased under our PEP insurance grant, $1,000. The total cost was around $2,100, which included replacement of all of our pads for our AEDs that were expired. We also instructed our parks coordinator to schedule a CPR, AED, and first aid training with our parks employees. We are also going to open it up to TRCAA and WCSA staff, any coaches that want to attend. The goal is when we open the park in the spring, that first aid bag with the AED will be on site at all times with the park attendant. If not, it'll be in a lockbox where coaches will have the code and can access it if need be. Planning grant that we obtained, I executed the MOU with Mayor Burkholz on December 10th. At this point, waiting to have a meeting in the county to move it forward. Next steps will be sending it out to bid and selecting an engineer. Addison's water line extension, the bid process is active. It's posted on Verdantis website. That's the engineer we've selected for this project to do the engineering, the bidding. It's also active on our village website. That'll remain active to the close of business Friday. Insurance renewal and risk management. I renewed our insurance for fiscal year 26. There was a slight increase, but it was within the projected inflation amounts that Cindy and I said. We have a biannual risk assessment that's required. Scheduled that for February with our insurance rep, and part of that will walk all village property and we'll look at all capital assets and go from there. And they'll identify any lighting or safety risks that they'd like us to address. Finalize the fiscal year 22 and 23 audit with the state auditor. I have a meeting scheduled in the coming weeks. Mayor Burkholz will attend that with me to discuss their findings. Finally, I've nominated our Parks Coordinator, Daniel Gilligan, to participate in the 2026 Leadership Academy. This year, I was a 25 graduate. As I stated last year, I went first to see if it was beneficial. I believe it's extremely beneficial. I look at Daniel as an asset both for our Parks and Waterworks, and so I've nominated him to attend that this year. Waiting to see if he'll be selected by the Center for Local Government. So
Are there any questions that council members have? Kevin, you had a question?
Yeah, the development grants that we were looking at a year ago, that I assume that the planning that we got, 30,000 we got, was like an anticipation of a bigger proposal that might fit into that, that cycle for bigger grants.
Thanks.
yes, so
My question is, does that still exist given the turmoil in our government? And is that deadline here and we're more thinking about it for 2027? Like, I think it was around February last year.
the larger grant that you speak of is the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant, which is a 6 to 7 figure award. That can include anything from acquisition to seed money for the developer. I don't believe we'll be in a position to submit for that in 26, but we're well positioned for 27. I probably no other community is positioned better. The two major checkbox items are having a model zoning code, which would Park Hamilton County P&Z on the next step, and for additional scoring on our matrix is to have if been awarded and completed the mini planning grant. So the goal in the mini planning grant is to identify target acquisitions or target plans that we can write a grant for 27.
So I just want to celebrate that actually. Like, it may be frustrating when you think of all the, like, the little grant disappearing for a park improvement here or there and not getting this grant. I think it's good that we have progress toward a 3-year goal here. So I don't have a speech, but celebrate your efforts there and that we're making progress.
Thank you.
Mary, I think you had a question, but before that happens, I want to build on Mr. Burns's comment. And I'm not going to go into any great depth on the library at this point. But I will tell you that I had conversations with Steve Johns in Hamilton County about the library and made him aware of some things that are going on. I don't want to get into that in an open session, simply because Miami Township has discussed this in an open session. I'm not sure that's appropriate without having, I don't want to say anything publicly until I talk with the trustees first. But what I will tell you is, Steve Johns' comment to me was the village of Cleves, and it's not exactly the word for word, but I'm almost going to tell you it's like the golden child. They are very, very pleased with the village of Cleves. And it's in part due to the work that Justin has done, if not all part of what he's done in building relationships with Chris Schneider and the members who have been working with us as a village. Those things are going to go a long way in the approval process of larger grants that I believe we're going to be eligible for and will receive in future years. That would not have happened without his leadership. So I want to build on your comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary, you had a question. I thought you had a.
No.
Okay.
No.
Anybody else have any questions for Justin? I only have one other comment. I may be wrong on this, but if I'm right, I want to make sure this is on the record. Your information about the Addison thing, whatever that cost is going to be, is covered by a grant. You were correct on that? So there are no waterworks funds, general funds from the village. That is all a grant. I believe the amount was somewhere around 900,000. Am I correct on that?
right around that, it was about 1.2 million with the grant subsequent awards to expand their wells.
So if anybody out there wonders what the value is of a village administrator, there's your example. And there's a potential for quite a bit of revenue for the village of Cleves Waterworks as a result of that effort. So thank you again. If there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bolton. Do
So
I have a
moved.
second?
I still got some jet lag from
Second by Mr. Bagle.
between Salt Lake
There's no
City
further
and Utah.
discussion. Then please call the roll.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Angeline.
Yes.
Ms. Meyer.
Yes.
Mr. Babel.
Yay.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you everyone for being here tonight and enjoying a very long meeting.
Everybody adding a little character.
This is a, you can't